Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
Today, I guess we're doing kind of a Canadian slant on things, but also animated. So lower decks, Canadian, animated. I mean, Parliament class. We're going to look at the Parliament class. Come on.
What's a bit surreal is that it was Vancouver, and you're just in Vancouver like 4 days ago, which you're not normally at. So happenstance was not intentional, but there you go. So maybe, Stuart, you'll feel a deeper connection with design.
Maybe.
Yes, lower decks. It appeared, 3 times? Super underused, considering it's a fresh-ish new design, mostly. Now, we've obviously looked at the ship at the time in lower decks, and it was great. But then STO, the wonderful people at STO, took it and blended its style more in with the live action. I know we've been told to look at in various lives, but I've never sat down and looked at the detailing of the more, the up detail version, which in theory is then the best version's model the design you can get. So here is in the show, Stuart. What rings true to you from the show shot before we look into the more detailed version?
Yeah, it's got very much like a modern day kind of Miranda or Nebula class kind of vibe to it. But I don't know if that's necessarily in keeping with what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like a newer version of the Cerritos, the California class. But I don't know. We'll see when we get into it.
I always took from it was like, if the Cerritos is a slant of sort of the second tier fleet, this is the bigger ship of the second tier fleet. Nothing mean to it or anything, just there's, like the Mirandas became like third tier by the end of their run, right? Like they all have their slants. This is kind of the hero of that.
Yeah, it doesn't have a kitbashy feel to it at all, in my opinion. It's got a very integrated kind of new shapes going on. It could have been a lot more kitbashy, but they chose to do something like very unique and interesting. So
here she is. And of course, registries don't come with it, so add that back in your brain. But there you go, the up-detailed STO version. Thoughts?
I didn't realize that there were actual details from the California class on this. Like those side things on top of the saucer there. Didn't realize those were there. Which kind of, again, reinforces this is more like a more modern day version of the California class. Because, yeah, even the shape of the bridge module is... It's odd, but I like all the shapes here. The nacelles as well feel very not of the regular fleet vibe. Yeah, it looks good. I'm still a fan.
Would you agree with me? The nacelles feel boxy in a curved way.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't know how they did that, but they did. And is the ship a little bit too flat feeling, at least from this angle? I think that's mostly, like bridge dome or lack thereof I think that's what's doing it for me, the lack of depth. What do you think?
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that from this angle for sure. Not in a bad way, I don't think, but...
A different way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, such a deliberate choice to not give it a distinct bridge module, even if Cerritos has what it has, like, it's odd to have such a flat shape. But boy, RCS thrusters add a lot. Really like those detailing, the cut-ins. Phaser strip always adds... I'm assuming, we know from the series there's torpedo launchers, and because of course it's a bigger ship, relative to the size of the hull, they're smaller. Those outstretched, pod things, which makes sense. They feel well proportioned. But then having 3 giant, I don't think bridge windows because the ship's too big. So 10 forward, but like 1 top. It's not a bad thing, but I don't think the Parliament has a 3 giant window, given I think we saw inside it was just 3 test bridge coloured differently. So we're having Intrepid, I guess, has a briefing room, ready room style thing at the front. What do you think of having some big forward bar windows?
No problem with that at all. It's probably just the briefing room, honestly. I could see the bridge being set in the middle there, and then the briefing room just being in front of the bridge, and having that look out as opposed to the back of the bridge like the Galaxy class, right?
Yes. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very fair.
The thing that doesn't bother me, but is confusing to me here is a sense of scale. Because you look at the edge of the saucer, you got a few rows of windows, but they seem very small. So this is a larger ship. Not quite sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, the show implied it's bigger than Cerritos. I always thought it was like a third bigger, but those windows feel in size with the ship, but not the ship the size I thought it was. And the Cerritos is like actually kind of Galaxy-ish size, not quite, but I mean, do you mind if it's not as big as you think and it was just always just the angles in the show to kind of make you think hero?
I never thought it was large. Yeah, the Cerritos is larger than a lot of people think it is, but I never really got a sense that this was super large, although it does have a lot of windows, which kind of implies that it is. So I don't know.
Hey, great windows in the pylons. They kind of work. Not sure what they're doing because there's a lot of windows, a lot of space, but
And it's got like the old style, well, Galaxy class style
classic,
escape pods,
classic.
yeah, as opposed to the Sovereignty
Which is a good
fancy ones.
choice. It's a nice choice they made, and yeah, looks nice, works well. But next shot from the back though, with the big old impulse engines. Now I'm gonna say first of all, are they good? Are they too big? Do they make sense? Because there's a lot of hull behind them. But is that all impulse drive? I don't know.
Maybe more robust, maybe a little more powerful with redundancies. Could be if this is the next version of the California class, which was second contact ship, also an engineering ship designed for like salvaging other ships. Could be like larger, more robust impulse engines to be towing things. If that's in fact what this purpose of the ship is, right?
I'm going to put a bold suggestion here because I see now it might be the STO model, but there's two plates. I'm assuming there's on the bottom as well. How would you feel if they were Delta Flyer 2, where they kind of flipped up and gave you impulse engines top, bottom, middle to kind of give that boost? Because there's a lot of space there.
I feel like that would be very not needed and kind of gimmicky. I wouldn't be opposed to it, especially with the shape that those are. Yeah.
There's just so much space. I'm wondering maybe they saw the design when they were designing it and thought, hey, it's misproportioned. So they thought, we'll add the impulse engines to push out a little bit. And they kept going to balance, which it kind of does. But I wonder if they just kind of extended it until it looked artistically right. So it's just an artistic choice.
I like the way that this ship just kind of all feels integrated. The only problem I'm having, especially with this view, is those friggin' nacelles. Don't like the shapes. Don't like the way that those RCS thrusters look at the back. It looks like a very cheap kind of 1980s game model wraparound
Oh,
thing. It just feels kind of.
I see. Yeah, I see what you mean.
I just it's really bugging me, and I've never noticed before how much those nacelles bother me. And it's just this particular image, I think.
Doesn't quite come together, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if they, sketched it, but then there's a difference between a sketch artist on a cartoon show, which is wonderful. But if they'd given it to like John Eves, Rick Sternbach, whatever, to kind of re-engineer it a little bit, same idea. There's a bluntness, a simplicity to it that works in animated form, but when you're trying to transcode it with the detail, like why is there? I mean, look, there's Bassard lines. Are they saying there's 4 Bassards, side Bassards, and then 2 at the front? 6 Bassards? It's a lot of Bassards.
Yeah, I think it's just implying that it's like the Cerritos or the California class nacelles with the kind of expanded front red elements, but these are just shielded and covered.
But I think, though, I see a shuttle bay between the 2 shoulder blades. There's a little light. I mean, it's a bit dinky. I mean, the Cerritos has like 2 side and a middle shuttle bay, and this to have a tiny shoulder blade one feels a little bit underwhelming. But is that a problem?
No, not necessarily, because I don't know where else a shuttle bay would be on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So,
no secondary hull. There's no. Yeah, it's maybe it's not shuttly, But let's look at the next picture, which has different view nacelles. All the windows look nice. Some nice cutting, some nice layering on the saucer.
I like the shapes. I like the way these things integrated. I like the way that the deflectors like incorporated in. And again, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to redesign like a new design. They could have made it more kit bashy, and they didn't, which I appreciate.
And also does not feel like just the Cerritos deflector. It's actually a new deflector with some new gimmicks that blends in the design. Right? You could say blends in too much is that middle bit because there's no lights, there's no glows, there's no. I don't understand what the entire middle chunk just from the deflector onwards. It's a multi-story giant bit. I don't know function from this form. What do you think?
Well, you know what it reminds me of? And it looks like it's very similar to the Defiant. That drop bay element. Because there's no lights, there's no windows, there's nothing there, but it also implies some of the detail there that it could be that opens up. So maybe that's the shuttle bay. Or again, if it's an engineering ship, maybe that's where, work bees can be launched from or whatever. to aid another ship.
Yeah, I mean, Galaxy class has a giant saucer ring shuttle bay. I wouldn't say it's implied, but there are little cut-in rectangles. If each of those little single Dawn of Workby came out, beautiful. Weird, but beautiful. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of in Stargate. There's a ship that has like a skateboard. It's Anubis' ship. It comes out. It's like a little curved thing. This, to me, visually, it's so distinct. Even the color's different. It looks like the thing just kind of comes out. So bold, I'll say it. But what if the entire middle bottom bit pops out, lands on a planet, and becomes like a dedicated mission control center? Right? Maybe.
It's ballsy. They could do that, but
it's like a captain's yacht on super steroids.
And actually, the nacelles from this angle don't bother me, but I see they're very flat on the bottom. I wonder if the whole ship could in fact land, and that middle part maybe come down to be like
the support.
Yeah, and then the loading and whatever ramp,
which we just saw in Defiant.
Elevator.
And look, another strip of Bassard. That's six side back Bassards, and oh goodness, they are Bassard hungry. But this is a nice view. This feels very like intentional. We're going to see the ship from this angle, so let's give it, because it kind of hides it blends the impulse engine length. It blends the nacelles. Everything kind of fits here, because not every ship's designed for every view, etc., etc. This, I think, feels more intentional than other ones. Next view is the back side. Now, your thoughts on nacelles, because to me, they already feel different. The further one feels worse than the front one. I don't know why.
Yeah, again, I don't mind them so much here. Something about the roundness of the back, though, just bugs me. Like, I wish it trailed off into something a little bit more, aerodynamic-like, I guess.
And you're so right. The RCS, just push them that way into the flat bit. It does. You're right. That really stands out here.
So yeah, just that one particular angle really bothered me. This doesn't bother me as much, but still, the ends of the nacelles feel like they're just kind of chopped off and just not finished. So I wish there was something like trailing back a little bit or something there.
Yeah,
it worked a lot better.
It's hard to put the finger on it, isn't it? It's just something not quite. And again, that front under saucer, what's going on? Don't know. It's just a giant sort of chasm of detail that's just something. I don't know. I don't dislike it, but it stands out now. I'm looking at it but I wonder if the original version, like the California, was just 3 rings and that was it. So they tried to do something, but they couldn't change it too much. But Stuart, will it ortho is the question, because these things are not designed to be looked at from every view. So let's see how it looks.
I really like the shapes. I really do. There's something about this, since I first saw this ship, I really liked. Here you can see that it's got that California class few elements to it, but it also has that Sovereign class fleet as well vibe with the shape of the saucer and some of the things going on there. So the nacelles, though, again, right here are just what? They don't feel like they belong on this ship.
But is it also because they're the pylons placed right up to the Bassards, and it's just imbalanced? Had they pushed that further back, so the Bassards were closer, would that have modified it? Is it just the placement of the pylon to nacelles?
No, I think the pylon placement's fine. I just wish that, like I said, the back trailed off. Maybe
it's very abrupt.
It just feels like it got chopped off, right? But yeah, I mean, other than that, I really like the shapes here. I think those larger impulse engine areas are a design choice here. Like, there's no particular reason for them. They just look really good.
But I think cut them off and it wouldn't look as good. I think I was right about that. It balances out a bit, because it makes it feel more than just a saucer with the nacelles on. That gives it a little bit of something. So I think that works. While odd, right? I mean, we have an O-berth. It works, but it's odd.
Yeah. The top and bottom both look really good.
Very different as well. Like almost both fully fleshed out ships, because you've got the kind of bridge dome look on the bottom. Like you actually, and the nacelles could be up slung, lower slung. They both kind of work in their own way.
Yeah, it's kind of got a, like I said earlier, it's got kind of like a sovereign-y fleet vibe. You can see the shapes here, because when you first see it, you realize that it's a new designed ship, and it's cool. But when you see it from this orthos, you get, especially the shape of that saucer feels very sovereigny, and I love that because it's just like the sovereign version of the California class, you know.
Yeah,
So
and I wouldn't have thought that, like I say, from other angles. But in this view, it's sort of because a lot of people, when they say sovereignty, they literally take some of John's design cues, his nacelles, his source, and they just reapply it to a new shape. This is not that, while still maintaining or including that distinct sort of V, almost V-shaped back bit that Sovereign has that integrated. It is that, but there's other things around it that elevate it. So it, like I say, so it has, yeah, I pointed out, is sovereignty while not being overriding of the design language. Good job. Now I wonder if when we do future videos of comparing to say the Cerritos from Lower Decks, if the saucer will feel like a stretched Cerritos saucer or an original design. What's your gut on that? Because I mean, I'm in between.
I think it might feel very stretched, just California class. Because I could see if you just took that shape and just rounded it out, it's kind of,
Close enough.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the tough one.
An interesting question for another day. All right, now these views often work well. Let's see if the side, front, and back. Stuart, what do you think?
Um, I want to like the side view, but there's something about it that just doesn't quite work, and I don't know if it's the saucer thickness. Because you can see those windows there, and they seem a little thin compared to the ones in the struts. It's like it doesn't have the bulk that it should have. I do like the way the secondary, like the deflector looks from the side, but something is odd there.
Again, you can never see this in nature, orthographic. There's always some perspective. Even if you had the miniature, you would not be able to get this unless you took a camera to it and you get zoomed in. I think none of these views work, but not for any huge way. Just they all show the weakness of the design, which is too thin this, whilst being, as in there's not enough depth, or being too thick saucer, like you say, it's just a brick. And then this is awkward, pylons, which is awkward. And then the cells are bricks. So yeah, this definitely is not its highlighting view. It's not bad, but it all the weaknesses are apparent in this view, right? That said, I love the torpedo launch replacement. 2 back of the deflector pod, and then 4 in the front cutting. That's chef's kiss of placement and logic, and I love that. And maybe there's 2 shuttle, 1 big bay, 2 under bays,
Maybe.
It's
It does
the
look like
same
that from the back.
texture, but to have your impulse engines bigger than your shuttle bay,
No.
that's a rare thing.
Yeah. Yeah, something about the saucer element to this just doesn't feel thick enough from any of these views.
Well, it's a flat thick though. It's like they just it's not elegant, it's not curved. Like you love the Connie for its gentle gradient. This is just an brick. Yeah. Not bad, but not the best way of looking at it.
Yeah. And then the cells are just bothersome.
But you don't hate them, they're just bothersome. But okay, let's look at more perspectives details in fact. The deflector, and we can see the bottom detail. Great deflector, it's original, it's fresh-ish, looks nice. Still don't know what any of the bottom details are, but any thoughts on the deflector, etc.?
No, I like the design. I like the shape. Again, the way that those arms kind of hold it in place. Just, they feel so well integrated. I like that.
Structured.
Yeah. Here you get a very good close-up detail of what could be doors on the bottom of that. It does feel like it could open up and have like a drop bay there.
Next is the nacelles, nice and fully detailed from the back. I mean, it kind of shows off the shoulder blades in this and the impulse engines. But again, it really shows the flatness of everything else. It's just kind of compressed down a bit.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the side of the nacelles. Just the end and that wraparound thing at the top. Just, yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry.
They're curved bricks, right? They're not, yeah. It's
do you like the windows and the struts though? I think that adds something, makes it feel busier.
But not too busy.
No.
The very fine line with that stuff. But I mean, I appreciate, Lower Decks was made and we got a few shots, and it's nice to finally get to properly dissect the design and really, lay it bare. I like that. This is what we do here, right? But now, undershot of the 2 impulse drives. Love me a bit of detail. Yeah, you see the 2 torpedo launchers. Are they bonus shuttle bays? The white details? I don't know.
I think so. That would make sense to me.
But they're not that much bigger than a torpedo tube arrangement. I mean, big enough, but, they're not... Yeah. I mean, hey, shuttle pod, launch bay, right? For the small shuttles, fine.
And the larger ones up top, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Gives me kind of flying saucer vibes a little bit with the inner grilling for some reason.
Yeah, 100%.
But I was right, there are potential plates at the bottom which maybe might infer pop-out impulse engines. Next, though, is the front sort of detail on the saucer and the torpedo launchers. Weird window placement, but hey-ho.
Yeah, I mean, it's very aggressive, that's for sure.
This view is, yeah, I'll agree.
I do like the cutout, though. I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah, I do too. Great RCS thrusters, as I said earlier. How Miranda does this give you? Like, on a scale of 1 to Miranda, where are we at with this? Because this, for me, does vibe a lot closer.
Does for me, too.
I'd say 7 Mirandas out of Miranda.
Maybe. I like the deflector. That's a good addition if you're going to do something Miranda style. Like, add that deflector.
How would you have felt if there was a secondary deflector in that cut-in? Like, kind of like Voyager style. Or in Nova style, in fact.
I would have been fine with it. I don't think it's needed, especially with the way this is designed, so.
And then we got the top view, classic view, which I think celebrates and highlights the design choices. Because the shoulders look great, the cut-in greaves, which we haven't mentioned, they're there. What do they do? They're there. And even kind of hides the bridge module, it being not very bridgy. I don't know. This works really well, I think.
Yes. This shows off like the design elements I really enjoy with this design. Even so much so that I can't even critique the nacelles. And it's most of the views from the show. You don't see how bad, quote unquote bad, those nacelles are. So yeah, I think this actually is. I just love the shapes that they've used and the way they've incorporated them. I think it's a great addition to the fleet. I really do.
Yeah, and it isn't just at Cerritos, but it's clearly the same but different. And bigger and newer. Would I have done some differences? Sure. Would I like to see it more used in the show? Absolutely. Am I happy there's no giant delta on the bottom a la Obina? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realised, there are still those Cerritos torpedo launchers. So this thing has 6 forward, 2 aft.
Wow. It's pretty impressive for a secondary class ship, I guess.
Last note from you. Do you like it more or less the same compared to where we started? Because it's one of those few ships that we really have had very little time with. How do you feel now?
I might like it a little bit less, but it's very, very minuscule. Every time it showed up, I was like, oh, that's a really fantastic ship. I love the design. Didn't see anything wrong with it. Now that we've looked at it, there's 1 or 2 things that I'm like, yeah. No, knowing that they're there and that they look like that from certain angles, I'm just kind of like, but I still really enjoy the overall shapes and the design language. So,
would you say the highs are higher, but the lows are now lower?
Yes, I guess that would probably be a good way to put it, yeah.
And I got to commend the team. My big takeaway is, well done for retexturing it, redetailing it to look more live action. She fits in really well. This sort of thing, you could easily see in Picard Season 3 in the corner somewhere. Right? It really nice, just thinking it through a little bit more. Just a few little tweaks. But in fairness, nacelles are interchangeable. So, and in fairness, it's a STO model. You could just literally... Right? And it might look better with 3D nacelles. Who knows? But yeah, let us know if you want to see us compare this to Cerritos in a future video. Of course, if you want to support the channel, then please do join our lives, all vented content, of course, like this, all our random videos. Super chat if you can, super thanks if you can, PayPal if you can, trekyards@hotmail.com. Or go to Stuart's channel and just wave at him in the comments, going hello.
And don't forget to comment down below and make sure you hit the like button and share this content around with anybody you think might enjoy it. And yeah, just come back and join us for other ones, because we've been doing this for a long time. We're going to do it continue to do it for a long time.
So. Every ship.
Probably, hopefully, maybe. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.